Hi, my name is Nick Phillips, and I'm part of the Columbia University debate team, and I'd like to propose a solution to the gay marriage debate. So basically what I'm proposing is that instead of legalizing gay marriages, states should instead just issue civil unions to all couples, gay or straight. These civil unions would extend all of the civil benefits and rights of a marriage to all couples. And basically, from that point, individual churches could choose to ordain those civil unions as marriages according to their own criteria that they develop on their own. So why is this good? Basically, states have an obligation to make sure that equal rights are afforded to all of its constituents, all citizens. This does that. However, states shouldn't interfere in cultural matters unnecessarily, and there are lots of religious conservatives, religious minorities in this nation that won't budge on this issue. And, marriage is a cultural issue. Marriage is a sacrament. We don't expect the state to absolve sins or baptize children. And so insofar as the state, has no real motive to call civil unions marriages, why not just make the term marriage a legally meaningless term and instead extend all normal civil rights and benefits to all couples, gay or straight, through civil unions and not call them marriages. This allows our political dialogue to move past this issue by appeasing a constituency that would not budge on this issue. It gives homosexuals equal rights faster, and I think it would be great for everyone.
Hi, Nick. My name is Aya, and I'm debating against you. And once again, so my main concern with your proposal is that, first of all, it fails to accomplish that which it sets out to accomplish, and then moreover, that it actually causes some additional problems. So very quickly, though, to go into the case that you're presenting, you talk about marriage being a specifically cultural matter, and you say that the state should not interfere in cultural matters. I'd like to hear a little bit more elaboration there, simply because, we're kind of used to the idea of the separation of church and state as being constitutional. At the same time, it seems a bit ludicrous to say that culture and state ought to be separated simply because culture is such a big part of everyday life. You can't quite make that distinction between the two. But then going into the problems that your case presents, well, first of all, you get the opportunity to exploit civil unions, right? So marriages are actually formed around the idea of a family, the idea of building something together. A civil union is formed against as a result of some
Okay, so Ala, you can finish your point in the next round, but I'd like to address your argument that marriage is fundamentally a cultural issue and that states should involve themselves in cultural issues because you can't, draw a clean separation between the two. And I agree that sometimes this is the case, but as much as necessary, we should try to remove the state from cultural matters that it doesn't have a pressing need to involve itself in. Why is this? Because culture is something that, groups take really seriously and are unlikely to compromise on, and it creates conflict. So if the state seems to be is perceived to be favoring one cultural side, it angers another cultural side. But if we just extricate the state from a cultural debate by simply asking the state to provide equal rights for all, which is its only real obligation, and just make marriage a legally meaningless term by not granting marriage licenses, well, that's great. So basically, all the benefits of a marriage are extended under civil unions, but the state doesn't have to piss off conservative Catholics and evangelicals that will never compromise on this issue. And I'd like to not piss them off, not because I think that they're right, but because I think that they'll never compromise on this issue because they perceive their culture to be under attack. So if we bypass this issue, the gay marriage debate can just be sort of stricken from the record of our political dialogue, and we can move on to more important, higher impact issues. We allow gays to get equal rights faster without having to, force these conservative groups to compromise.
Okay, sorry, going back to the other stuff I had to say, ran out of time last time. I understand what you're trying to say there. The issue that I have with that is that you have to draw a bright line at some point in time, right? You don't really elaborate into what exactly your civil unions provide or what sort of couples are able to enter into a civil union, but how would the state, take a stance on polygamy or, other sorts of untraditional marriages or cultural practices. At some point in time, there is going to be a line that is drawn, and somebody is going to have to be pissed off, as you say. Alright, so then going back to why this doesn't actually solve, why this, the political debate isn't going to be alleviated with this sort of solution. Well, first of all, because it misinterprets entirely the whole idea of, the gay rights movement, which seeks acceptance in some sense, and acceptance within the American culture, which obviously has marriage as one of its institutions. By denying, even everybody marriage, and saying that this is equality, this is not actually equality for the gay rights community. What this is telling them is that they have some sort of